Hello everyone, I welcome you all on behalf of Analyst IAS. Till now you have cleared your prelims and mains, you have proved your mettle there. Now it's time for you to make your way to the final list, and to do that you need to clear your interview. You need to go past the personality test. So today we are going to talk about various controversial topics, various controversial issues that might come up in your interview, that might be discussed during that interview. In our panel today, I have esteemed people here. Our first panelist is Dr. Sri Ranjan. Sir has served 25 years in Assam and Meghalaya cadre, 7 years in Government of India, and he is Chairman Board of Revenue Meghalaya. Then we have Mr. Nitin Shivhare, Director and Founder Analyst IAS, and then we have Dr. Aditi Patel, IRPS. Now, without any further ado, I would like to start our discussion, and I would like to take my first question from Dr. Sri Ranjan. Sir, usually we make a huge scenario in our head as a candidate before entering the interview room about how should I enter, how should I present myself in front of the board. What do you think? So, what are the various tips that you would like to give to the candidates in this regard?
Yeah, thank you. It's a very difficult question, but since it is a personality test, you have to enter the board with your normal self. So calm down before that, breathe deeply, okay, and enter the board with open mind, not having any preconceived idea about the board or other thing. And then your manners of approaching the interview chair and the manner in which you sit, that is something which also reflects your personality. Thereafter, during the interview or during the course of discussion or discourse or interaction with the board, you should take it as an interactive aspect, and wherever the natural response should be there. So basically you should appear normal self, and that's the best way to tell the interviewer or personality assessor that I'm in my own self, in full control, and here I am. Thank you.
Nitin sir, with your background in polity and constitution, I think I can ask you very safely this question, that what are the important questions that might be asked related to polity and constitution from the candidate?
Okay, so thank you for asking this question. So since I cover this polity and ethics subject in the classes, the polity is a king subject, one of the king subject, and the very first question that can be asked from a candidate, that under which provision of the constitution UPSC has been set up, and under which provision this services like IAS, IPS and all India services and central services like Indian foreign services, they have been set up. So people are not able to recollect, as if they know the things, but it is because of the peer pressure or nervousness, they are not able to recollect. But then polity is a very current oriented topic. So election related things and some of the personal choices, because theme of this video is controversial questions. So for example, we have asked a question from a candidate that okay, you have exercised your voting rights, right, and we can see the sign on your finger also that you have exercised your vote. Which party you have voted for? Might be the answer is that they have voted for something, some party or like that, but I say that giving vote or choosing a political party in ballot box is something which is secret within the person only, and you're not expected to divulge this information, right? This is one thing. Another thing that they may ask about your choice for a kind of government, the incumbent government that is in power, or personally which political party you like. They just want to see your opinion, and it is a trap. You may say that, sir, all the political parties are doing fine, and every political party is having positives and negatives too, right? So some party has done good in the health sector and in education sector, like in Delhi we can see, but some other party has done something something on the national front to integrate India, keeping in mind the integrity of the nation. So that's how every party is having a different USP, and we feel that in a democracy the combined and multiple say is very, very important. So these are all, good answers, and there can be n number of responses, but neutrality and anonymity, these are two primary values that a would-be bureaucrat or a bureaucrat need to reflect. So that's how it is. I may come back to other questions in other frame. So that's how it is.
Basically, sir, you meant that we need to maintain a very bureaucratic approach.
I will say that in the country like India, which is a democratic setup, and the kind of profile the bureaucracy has maintained, very decent, serving all the challenges but not losing their decency and kind of thing which are required. So this is all which was required and which will be there, right? Whether it is a challenge coming from security scenario or from the administration, it's not a cakewalk, but definitely the process has to be decoded in a very kind of decent way, and sir may give a little more input about this because he has seen the administration for more years.
So, sir, should the approach be really bureaucratic?
No, I think you should be truthful. You should be truthful, honest, and if you have certain opinion, and if you are asked specifically to reply to some kind of opinion-oriented question, then you must come out with your opinion, whatever you have. Okay. So in the interview, it's a personality test. They will assess whether you are truthful in your answer, your communication, and your comprehension of the issue involved is broad, specific, and also to the point, and in what manner you try to interpret things. So that would be reflective of your own personality. Okay, so you should be truthful. Bureaucratic you can be always in life, so that is when you join it. Okay, so.
Ma'am, my next question is from you. Candidates, they are very nervous. As in, this is something which we all know that before going to the interview, all of us, they are very nervous. Like, quite a lot is built up in our heads. So, how does the board deal with such nervous candidates? Are they more nervous? Are they, the board, do they make you feel relaxed, or what is it? How do they approach?
Okay, so let me answer this nervousness in general for the interview process. Okay, I'll come back to your question, but let's discuss first before entering the board what we can do to control our nervousness, right? So first of all, you should be thorough with your DAF so that you don't you don't feel threatened of any type of questions. Current affairs you're thorough with. Sarme, you should be practicing in front of a mirror so that you know what gestures you're doing, are they necessary or you're overdoing it. And if you give a mock, if you can see and reflect on your performance, and most importantly, build a chain of thought, the chain of questions. If what could be the probable areas from where the questions are asked, and what would be my answer, and what would I present in that answer so that the next question leads to there. So this chain of thought thing will only come if you prepare beforehand. You can't be spontaneous and think about idea to project there. So practicing a lot in front of mirror, that would help. And then when you go on the board that day, there are 6 candidates and for one board at the afternoon and morning session. So don't try to have a discussion there, because we usually are tempted to have a discussion. People carry all newspapers, which is allowed also when you are waiting for the area, and if you're one of the candidates whose number is later on, so people get tempted to have discussions. Then candidates are also mischievous. They try to ask you कि ये पढ़ा, ये आता है. So don't go into all these conversations. Be quiet. If you want to read the newspaper, read on your own. And when you go to the board, they take you like 5 to 10 minutes earlier. By that time, try to have deep breathing, so that nervousness won't come as you enter. And when you enter and you have wished the members and then you have been asked to sit, you still feel nervous. So I don't think at the beginning any question is thrown at you which will make you nervous. If you calm on yourself, no question would come shuru mein hi aisa ki you'll feel nervous. So if you maintain your state of mind, I don't think you'll become nervous in the whole interview process as well. और अगर बीच में कभी ऐसा होता है, it is very important कि कभी 3-4 questions एक पैनल मेंबर से आ गए and we have to reply, sorry sir, I don't know the answer. This is the trickiest situation one candidate falls into, and खुद पे pressure build up हो जाता है कि मैंने 4 questions नहीं बताए, अब मैं कैसे वो करूँ. So इस चीज़ को पहले से सोच के रखना है. 4 हो क्वेश्चंस, 10 हो क्वेश्चंस, 15 हो क्वेश्चंस. आप एक पैनलिस्ट, आप एक मेंबर के कोई भी क्वेश्चन का आंसर ना करें. But you have to keep in mind कि it's not about the answers, it's not about the number of times you say no. It's just the way you say politely. If you say politely, you have to keep your calm, है ना, and not think कि ना pressure अपने आप build up नहीं करना है अपने ऊपर, क्योंकि अगर build up हो गया तो it depends on members, वो आपको help भी कर सकते हैं वापस आने के लिए, but then they might be interested in saying कि आपको और कितना nervous किया जा सकता है. So it depends on your day also, but my biggest tip would be, ऐसा होता ही है सबके साथ कि some or the other question someone is not aware of. It's not something which UPSC ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा कि जितने क्वेश्चन आपको बताए गए उसके सबके आंसर्स आपने दिए तभी मार्क्स आएंगे. आपने जो आंसर्स अटेम्प्ट किए वो कितनी डेप्थ के साथ अटेम्प्ट किए, और जो आपको नहीं आता था आपने ऑनेस्टली एक्सेप्ट किया, तो दैट विल डू. सो अगर आप इस ट्रैप में नहीं फंसेंगे, अपने ऊपर प्रेशर बिल्डअप खुद नहीं लेंगे, तो आई थिंक यू विल बी सेफ, राइट. तो द ट्रिक इज टू नॉट गो इन टू द जोन, because you can't expect the members to pamper you there, right? So this is my opinion and my experience.
Another question I really wanted all of you to answer, as in when a candidate enters the room, how should he or she address the board?
As in terms of, say, if they have pushing the board.
So basically, usually by the hour, you have good morning or good afternoon kind of situation, good evening kind of situation. And if the composition of the board is all male, then wishing the chairperson as good morning sir or good evening sir. That covers the entire. And where there is a lady member, then lady member must be addressed or wished separately. Okay. So that is the general pattern.
Adding to this, I would ask if you just saying one good morning or good afternoon also to the chairperson, you should at least glance at all the other persons and have a quick look around and smile and nod. You need not repeat good afternoon sir, good afternoon sir, but you have to make a quick glance to everybody, make a eye contact. Right?
With each one.
Yeah, very quickly. Not like you need not focus and try to effortless. No, it would be very effortless. Like, we enter, chairperson is sitting in the middle, greet him and just have a quick glance. तब तक वो DAF भी देखते रहते हैं. There is time.
Yeah.
So chairperson is looking at your DAF. You can have a quick glance to all the other members. Just smile at them.
Adding to it, Aditi has put it very rightly that the eye contact plays or means very vital role. If you can see my eyes and I need to wish the board, so I will be having eye to eye contact with the chair first, and then rotating my eye angles so that other members are also on board while I am wishing to the entire board. And then male and female. If female is cheering the board, that is a win situation for you as far as the wishing gesture is concerned, because female and wishing the chair first, so it is all synchronizing in sync together. But of course, if female is also there, then after the chair or along with the chair, you can take her on the board. So if this is the situation.
I mean, basically whenever there is more than one person, the greeting says Namaste, means you are greeted both. Okay, so when you enter the board, that means you are greeting the entire board. Okay, chairperson is the head of the board, so basically through him you are greeting the entire board.
Yes.
But if there is a lady member, since we have deference to the ladies, okay, so we should reflect that cultural aspect and also the general trend in our country to greet the ladies.
So my next question is from you.
Yeah.
Many times various controversial topics are asked, various questions related to controversial topics are asked. For example, like currently hijab is in news. So how should one balance one's answer? Like, since these questions are highly politically and ideologically loaded, so how should one answer these questions?
I mean, he was mentioning about polity question. So, where the constitution and the law or the rulings of the Supreme Court or High Court has already been pronounced on such issue, that stand becomes clear. Now, if you are pressed for your opinion, what is your personal opinion, what is your view, or some incidents, say CAA agitation or farmers agitation, right, and your personal view on that, okay, not the political view, not the say court's view, right, your personal view, then you should truthfully come out and you must have answer for that, okay, why you think that is important, okay. But the controversial questions are also emotive questions, emotion related, Ram Mandir, okay, reservation, okay, then start caste, okay, atrocities, violence, okay, right to agitate, okay, right, one's right versus another's right. Now there you have to come out with a balanced approach, and how would you approach that question depends on how you have been groomed, or how, in the family, in the classrooms, and in the notes, and how you are. So, sometimes what happens, people try to give kind of template based question, like why do you want to join civil service? It is not a controversial question, but you will find people will come out, I have a dream from my childhood or something like that. So template based answer is not a good answer. It doesn't reflect, it only shows that you are copy and paste, okay. So you should come out with cogent answer with valid reasons, okay. Preferably you should give the both side view and then say that both side argument, pros and cons, both side arguments, and then say that this is my view. Where the board shows some kind of impatience with giving both side, then and the question is, you should listen to the question very carefully. If the question is, what is your view, straightway, then you should say your view. You should, without any paraphrasing, you should come out on your view, okay. So that will be kind of being truthful and also being prepared. And as Aditi mentioned earlier, basically your DAF and your your current affairs, etc., will give you a lot of cue what can be normal question. Sometimes you can get one and other odd balls of like googly. Okay, there you should use your wits, your knowledge. Okay.
So, your views regarding the same question?
So, for the questions, sir has given very good input, but I can recall some of the Hindi lines about these questions, which are sometimes a trap, because opinion formation is a very smart play. So in Hindi these sayings are that गए थे मंदिर में गुनाहों की माफ़ी मांगने मगर वहाँ एक और गुनाह कराए हम, गए थे फूल चढ़ाने लेकिन लगा वहाँ फूलों का कत्ल कराए हम. So this opinion formation, when you are giving the opinion and which is best for you, but in the overall context for which you are coming, the UPSC civil services interview, in last, if they are asking, you have to tell that whether you feel good about this issue or not. You can say, sir, I would like to skip this question because I feel lastly, I feel that maybe that question was for hijab and all. Sir, the larger context, because hijab is maybe a religious kind of symbol and all, but maybe a scarf in general if it is printed in another format. But you have a smart candidate know that how to modify the discourse. If it can be serious and it can be in lighter vein too. And they all want to check that whether this candidate is fit to mold a situation into a comfortable one or mold a situation which is complex further more complex. So it is your acumenship, the way you want to go for.
There is a risk in that. The risk is that if you say that you should skip that question, okay, that reflects that you are escaping to answer where an answer is sought from.
I agree with sir.
And very often, if you play smart, the experienced board members are smarter than you.
Yeah.
They have tons of experience and they can construe such answer in a very, very negative or pejorative manner. Okay? So, I would say that you should be truthful. If you don't have opinion, you can be honest that I haven't thought much about it.
That is a good way to see.
So,
Rather than saying I attempt at the question, that is a better way.
Or I haven't thought deeply on this, and I have comprehension of the issue, but I would like to.
Maybe I will work on this.
I have yet to formulate my opinion in a cogent manner. Okay.
So just to put this question in a more simpler terms, so should one be politically correct or should one be honest?
You see, the problem of being politically correct is who is the political mass. Okay. So the question is here you are going for your personality test. Okay. So there is no right or wrong, there is answer. They are assessing your personality. Okay. And if you think, how do you know? I mean, maybe I had a different view 10 years earlier. My upbringing was in a different political setup. Okay. And I am now convinced with the happening of things that no, I should be like this. So left or right is the parade of life which goes on. So okay, right. So the point is there is no politically correct answer. And if you are, as I was mentioning, if you give template based answer, the board will immediately come to know that you are giving them copy paste answer.
Yes, I will add on to this that the entire board is perceiving you, and this question was asked by some of the candidate whom we had the mock interview, and later on he told this. So he handled it that way, and he is into administration. But also the rapport building, this discourse and exercise is, if the board is happy, then some of the member or chair will ask that what is the name, what's your father's name, आपके पापा का नाम क्या है. यदि बोर्ड आपको दूसरे तरीके से लेगा तो वो कोई पूछ सकते हैं मेरे पापा का नाम क्या है. इट इज़ इन द लाइटर वेन दैट यू डोंट नो. So it is sometimes a question which is coming in the series, and the perception and the kind of rapport that you have already made, because first impression is the last impression. So it comes that way. So you are making the board the way they want to perceive you. It's you who has to play the role. If I am correct, sir.
So this will happen only when a person is reflecting beforehand.
Yes. Yes. So.
And what kind of questions could be probable जिससे start होगा, and what answer I am going to give, so that it goes in a direction of my choice. Like for I'll say my example. I hail from Chhattisgarh, so Naxalism was always in news.
Yeah.
So I always had this idea. I thought कि मैं इसको कैसे कैसे ला सकती हूँ. Directly पूछा तब तो आ ही जाएगा. But अगर ये पूछा, tell me about your state. What is the current scenario? So I can choose to highlight the positive things, yet I can choose also to mention in a positive way only. In Naxalism is a major issue, sir, and we are struggling with it, and we have done a lot in the area, and still a lot needs to be done. And this could be one question, or if they ask what are the 5 major issues in your state,
Yes.
or if you're selected, what areas you would like to work upon. So there could be n number of questions where I can bring them into. So if I think beforehand, then only I'll be able to steer in that direction.
So for this question, I will say that if this question it was asked from me also, then I told that maybe it is a security problem, but it is from the developmental perspective too. Right. So
No, I'm not talking about nationalism as such. It could be other topic for any other candidate. It was for me. I'm just telling how to bring your topic of your choice into the discourse. You have to think it, किस question में I can bring it.
Yes.
So basically, it's an interactive process. It's like the board adapts. It's like cricket game where how you play the ball. Okay. So if you have given a good reply, okay, then they will switch over. They will give you some other question, okay, some other situation. And the beauty of personality test is that you should be engaging the board in the discourse, whether you steer this by your answer or the course of discourse goes as if the river flows. Okay, so it's not in your control. Don't be conscious of that, but be aware of your words, of your phrases, of your mannerisms and opinion, so that it has its consequences. Every word, every opinion given has a leading reply or leading question, okay, or connectedness, right? So it's there that you need to think through your DAF, through your personality, or through your entire kind of life journey so far, and that's what is the expression.
This is interesting, sir. Actually, ma'am, what you would pointed out here is that I have my DAF. I know many things about nervous. Obviously, I will know things about myself. So I can some way steer my interview, and I can assume what kind of questions I can be asked in the interview.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the whole game about
70% or more questions will be from your definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yes.
Like
the more you prepare, the more chain of thoughts you build. कि ये पूछे तो ये पूछे तो
and even your greetings, say good morning, okay, so somebody can ask you, okay, what is good today morning, And that there I have found people getting jittery. Okay, either you should come out with good news. Some people have said, okay, I'm coming to for the personality test. This will be good news.
That could be a very simple
good, smart answer.
think of, yeah.
So it depends how you take the question ball by ball. Okay, or question by question.
So my next question is related to situation reaction test. And then when in interview, they give you certain situations and you're supposed to answer the questions.
Right.
So how should one, or what kind of situation, firstly, what kind of situations they might give you? Secondly, how one should answer to those situations? Because this is one area I know everybody is very confused and given their preconceived notions, they tend to, because of nervousness also, they tend to give a wrong answer. So how do you think one should?
So again, thank you for asking this question. Since I have taught psychology, and from psychologist perspective and from ethics also that I cover in class, this is a very important question, and you may be asked for anything, for any situation they may throw. Say for example, you need to save a person who is drowning, or one person or two people are there who are your family people, like your mother or your wife or your sister, whom you will be saving, either of them. So it's a situation like Yaksh and Yudhishthir situation, and you have to be very pragmatic about it. And then there may be another question that on the UPSC day, on the very day when interview is there, half an hour left, and you are seeing that one person lying by the side of the road and profusely bleeding, and no one is there in that hot day. What will you do? And there may be n answers for it, but the board want to see this, and they may ask a general situation of the administration. Maybe you are a DM, right, and maybe you are into police, so you are SP. So this is a security scenario, this is a situation, what will you do? On the one hand, children are there, women, old people, so they can design the situation. All in all, there are three things. First, how much you can think in time, right? Because it's not, no matter, it's not a knowledge test. On the spot, you have to decide about this. They just want to check. Also, your opinion about it, and also that hierarchy is there in your mind, right? And also the situation handling. There may be an other contest also, because if 10-15 minutes gone by and the discourse is on, that question has automatically come up in the mind. So situation reaction test may be theoretically, academically designed, or may come from the practical experience of any member of the board. And I think sir can also enlighten about this question related to SRT from his personal and practical experience in the administration.
The question is asked, basically it is an indirect way of seeking or eliciting your view and opinion, and how would you respond to such a situation, right? And it can be a live situation, as we witnessed on 26th January by the farmers' agitation, or it could be some case study which have happened, and known and unknown. And so the board members wants to assess whether you are imagining yourself in that situation, and do you have the full spectrum view of that situation, okay, the all dimensions of it, and then whether you are able to synthesize the position of law, the position of freedom, the liberty, and how would you respond in such situation? Of course, very often the situation goes out of hand also. It happens. There can be different responses. One response could be legalistic, lawful, and in accordance with the law, in good faith of the law. Okay, and the other could be a very liberal view of tolerance, okay, allowing some latitude on deviations, right? So there are no right or wrong answers, but as you say, it's like politically correct. Okay, I would say that the opinion should be expressed uh, in accordance with the law. That the legal position is like this, but as you know, in such situation, the larger picture should not be lost. That is basically peace, tranquility, harmony, okay, and greater good, greater public good. And that is where the board members would understand that you have a larger understanding of the public administration, polity, and the general discourse which is there. Thank you.
And so, on a line of these tough questions that are asked from candidates, and I would really like you to answer this question as in, especially for the female candidates, it is very difficult to choose the cadre. And especially for the female candidates who are married, they tend to choose the cadre where, from which their husbands they belong. So sometimes the board members they ask questions related to that. Why do you want to choose this cadre? How will you be able to balance the professional personal life, so on and so forth. So how female candidates can answer to such questions, because these are tough life situations.
In my experience, I was never asked about this, but if I think about it, you can be practical, as Sir said. Like if somebody's spouse is already in service and he has joined a cadre and he has already spent some years there and he is aware of the functioning there, it's not wrong for me to choose the same. Right? It's not an issue of ego or feminism that if a real feminist would choose if she should have her own preferences and the husband should follow. It's not like that. It works either way. Like if the girl is they both get simultaneously selected, then they can decide based on where their families are there, the language they already know. So all these practical considerations one can bring in the discourse. There's no point proving or feeling inferior about मैं क्यों प्रायोरिटी दूँ और मुझे एज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग प्रोजेक्ट करना है एंड मुझे ऐसा कुछ दिखाना है कि नहीं आई एम नॉट डिपेंडेंट ऑन एनीबॉडी. It's not like that. Everybody is equal. Men adjust to their wives. Wives should adjust to their husbands. So so this should be the approach. It depends on specific question क्या पूछ रहे हैं. But in general, accepting this कि practical situation, the location of family of either both the families or the familiarity of the place or work culture of any state, that could be my personal preference. It's not something I need to defend, right? So with that approach and work-life balance, you can quote, we see in every field, ladies are doing well and they are doing well with their kids also, and so I'm not any exception. And rather than bringing this, women are multitasking and women are better than men and we'll be able to adjust because I am a woman. Rather than saying it's more about priorities. If you have a job and you have your family, so I'll prioritize my things in a way that I do justice with both. Right? So I may be compromising at some level in my socialization or unnecessary spending or my travel time may be affected. But that won't be affecting my work and my family. I think this approach is what I would take.
And also, I can link to that the cadre policies. Earlier, the cadre marriages, sometimes it was a coincidence or it was a choice. We don't know. But yes, now the latest policy is that if you are of X cadre and one is of another cadre, then there will be a third state that will be given. right? So it's as of now.
But if both of them are there in the home cabin, then
yes, and then also there are compassionate ground. Administration is always considering if it is very genuine. But yes, it's an opinion formation again. So it's open to the candidate how. But Aditi input was really good.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So my next question is from you. If usually it happens that sometimes if I'm sick and if a candidate is sick and he or she is going for the interview, how is and what, because the sickness, if it is cough, cold, fever, it is going to impact the performance, the overall performance. How are they going to, like, should they convey to the board in the beginning itself that I'm not sick and it might have hampered my performance here? And how should we deal with the situation?
Though Aditi could say about this in better manner, but of course I can say a little about this question. See, if maybe it is a natural thing that you may fall sick or you may not feel good on the very day when interview is there, and your face may reflect that thing, and maybe the board is couldn't ask the question, and in the discourse, if you are able to say, "Sir, I'm not feeling that well," but it should be very genuine, right? And if you might have taken some medicine, right, in the morning, so I think that it is fine if you are able to diverge in some garb or the other that I am on medication or I took medicine because I felt uncomfortable in morning itself today. So then they will definitely accommodate all this. And then nervousness and all this is again related to the stress, the peer pressure one is having. I will say that some of the people are having good outings, they hobbies wise, and also they are having good sports activities. So generally, their hormonal cycle is manifested as good confidence in them. And since this exam is quite academic in nature, in interviews days also you are reading day and night. I will say that those people who are feeling nervousness in this interview setting, there must be some for 30-minute or 45-minute evening exercise in garden jogging or some sports activity. Maybe group discussion is also something like discussing the current issues with your friends, with the family people who are on the same page. It will give you a little good confidence, right? But that you are the last person who need to work about this. Talking to yourself while seeing yourself you in the mirror, it is very difficult in the initial exercise. But if you are able to do it, it will be really good. And there may be other medical illnesses that, of course, can be put in the like if the board is knowing about it in advance, that is fine. If it is not, then it can be told, not directly, but in some garb or the other.
I would suggest take a pill and sail through. Don't try to have no अलग ही तबीयत खराब है.
No, so
I don't know if somebody is very unwell, which is very obvious.
no,
it's
I
not
can
what they
recollect what happened. That one candidate came after the real interview of UPSC. Sir, in morning I had some headache and I took that. So being a doctor, you know that pain gates are closed and like that. He had some influence of that medicine, and he couldn't say this to the board. He couldn't say this to the board, and he tells that it was one of the reasons that I couldn't make in that attempt. And later in the next year, he was into the administration. He says that. So that's how it is. So our input may be of any good use for you. So that would be fine.
So, but always prevention is better than to take care of your health rather than going into such a situation where you need to tell me I have taken this or that medicine. उससे पहले you will keep calm and basic way है. First of all, you need to understand I am made to into the list. I deserve to be here. And second thing, if I don't know anything, I'll just politely, humbly say, "So sorry, sir, I'm not very much aware of the issue. I cannot recollect it as of now, or I'll go back and work on it reflect on it to have a more cogent opinion." That kind of replies. If half of our interviews also you say, "No, I don't know this," then also your marks won't be affected. It's about the calm and composure you can keep.
No,
there.
it is not about saying no. You can say for 9 question I don't know. That is a different thing. It is about the composer.
Yeah.
And I can also say deep breathing if I am correct. Deep breathing just before the interview also. It will be giving you little comfort inside you as far as the performance is to be given in the interview.
Not only then one can practice meditation and yoga as well before the interview month. Just because we
I
if
think
that
sir
works.
has something to add on to this, as in how to handle your nervousness before the.
No, I think we basically answered earlier. The general alertness, recall, and composition, etc., happens if your mind is alert and you have a lot of oxygen. Okay, so some people jog, some people do walking. Okay, early morning is good for energy. Okay, so they say good start to a day is the morning. So that's that. So I would say that during interview, as you say, prevention is better than cure. So prevention is that 1 month before you inculcate a habit where your routine is set, your stress is low, okay, and your mental health is taken care of. Okay.
So while leaving the interview room, generally the board or any member of the board, they might ask the candidate that do you have any question for us? How should we ask questions? Should the candidate ask questions? Should they not? What should they do?
My take is that it's your personality test. Okay. And once the interview is over, they are just trying to see whether you understand the context and you can differentiate between that like a classroom is a different situation where you can ask a question to your teacher, but where the personality test assessors are there as a board, the context is a formal setting, so it's better to politely decline any answer and say thank you sir for giving me this opportunity.
So any
I will definitely endorse sir's opinion about it. And you can say that it was really enlightened discourse, whatever we had. And you can politely decline simply for that question. So that's how. This is the only thing for the last question of board that they want to ask anything. Yeah.
I have nothing else to add. That one should leave with a smile. I'll just say
Yes.
this.
Thank you so much to all my esteemed panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for watching us. It was certainly a very eye-opening panel discussion on controversial topics, controversial issues, questions, and how to present yourself in the interview. I hope it was helpful for you and it will be helpful for you. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. Keep watching Analysts. Take care. Study hard.